The Galactic Council's emergency session had been called at Oro 300 Standard Time, when most civilized species would be in their rest cycles. But civilized was exactly what they were questioning about humanity. Commander Adnan Chen stood before the viewing port of the UES Defiance, watching the swirling nebula of Kepler 442 paint cosmic artwork across the void. Behind him, the bridge hummed with quiet efficiency, a stark contrast to the chaos that had erupted across known space 3 cycles ago. "Sir," came the voice of Lieutenant Neha Patel from the communication station, her fingers dancing across holographic displays that would have overwhelmed most alien nervous systems. "We're receiving another diplomatic request. The Zephyrian Empire wants to discuss terms of human containment." Adnan turned, his weathered face bearing the kind of smile that had made enemy admirals reconsider their life choices. Containment. How thoughtful of them. The irony wasn't lost on either human. 6 months ago, the Terran Federation had been considered a minor nuisance on the galactic stage, a young species barely worth cataloging. Their ships were primitive, their technology crude, and their expansion slow. The Galactic Atlas had allocated exactly 3 pages to human space, tucked between entries on extinct civilizations and mineral-rich asteroid belts. That was before the Hegemony War. "Display the tactical summary," Adnan commanded. The main screen flickered to life, showing a 3-dimensional map of local space. Red markers indicated former hegemony positions, the aggressive insectoid species that had terrorized this sector for millennia. Blue markers showed current human positions. The transformation was staggering. What should have been a minor border skirmish had become something unprecedented. In 4 months, humanity had not just repelled the hegemony's invasion, they had systematically dismantled an empire that spanned 47 star systems. "The xenobiologists still can't explain it," Neha said, pulling up combat footage that made even seasoned Galactic Council observers queasy. "How humans can fight for 72 hours straight without stimulants. How our soldiers can survive injuries that would kill most species 3 times over. How we can coordinate complex operations across light years with nothing but quantum entanglement communicators and what they call human intuition." Adnan nodded grimly. He'd read the reports. Hegemony warriors, each one worth 10 Alliance soldiers in previous conflicts, had been systematically outmaneuvered, outfought and outlasted by human forces that should have been exhausted after the first day of combat. "Sir," Neha's voice carried a note of amusement, "the Crystalline Collective is offering to mediate. They're suggesting we return to our designated space and pursue peaceful development under galactic supervision." "And the Void Hunters?" Radio silence. Complete withdrawal from 3 border systems. That was perhaps the most telling response. The Void Hunters were apex predators of known space, a nomadic species that had never retreated from anything. Their sudden exodus from human-adjacent space spoke volumes about what the galaxy was beginning to understand. Humanity wasn't just another species. They were something the established order had never encountered. A race that treated the impossible as merely inconvenient. "Display the deep space probe data," Adnan ordered. New images filled the screen. Distant shots of human colonies that shouldn't exist. Worlds with atmospheric conditions that would kill most known life forms. Where humans had not just survived but thrived. Mining operations in solar coronas where the radiation should have fried any known technology. Agricultural stations in the cold vacuum between stars, somehow coaxing life from nothing. "The economists are having breakdowns," Neha reported with barely concealed pride. "Our resource efficiency calculations don't match any known models. We're producing 5 times the industrial output of comparable civilizations while using half the resources." Adnan walked to his command chair, built to human specifications but reinforced beyond galactic standards. Like everything humans touched, it was both simpler and more robust than alien alternatives. "What's our current expansion rate?" 17 new systems in the last month. "The cartographers have given up trying to update the Atlas. We're expanding faster than their bureaucracy can process the paperwork." The truth was becoming undeniable across the galaxy. Human space wasn't growing according to any predictable pattern. They didn't just colonize habitable worlds, they made worlds habitable. They didn't follow established trade routes. They carved new ones through supposedly impossible regions of space. They didn't respect the careful boundaries that had kept galactic peace for millennia. Incoming priority transmission, Neha announced. It's from the Galactic Council itself. The communication that appeared on screen was unprecedented, not just in its content, but in its very existence. Never before had the Council addressed a species so directly, with such barely concealed urgency. To the human leadership, the translated message began, the Galactic Council formally recognizes your species' rapid advancement and requests immediate dialogue regarding territorial boundaries and technological sharing agreements. We believe mutual cooperation would benefit all civilized species. Adnan and Neha exchanged glances. They both understood the subtext. This wasn't a request, it was barely concealed terror wrapped in diplomatic language. Sir, Neha said quietly, the long-range sensors are detecting massive fleet movements. Every major power is repositioning their forces. Away from us? Toward their core systems, defensive formations. Adnan stood looking once more at the star-filled darkness beyond their ship. Somewhere out there, entire civilizations were realizing that their carefully ordered galaxy had been built on a fundamental assumption, that expansion, exploration, and adaptation had natural limits. Humanity was proving them wrong. Send a response to the Council, he commanded. Tell them we appreciate their concern, but humanity has never recognized borders it didn't draw itself. As Neha composed the message that would send ripples of unease across 1,000 worlds, Adnan reflected on the profound irony. The Galactic Atlas had ended where human space began, because they had run out of words to describe what humans were becoming. They weren't just another species in the cosmic catalog. They were the species that rewrote the rules simply by refusing to acknowledge them. And that, more than any weapon or technology, was what truly terrified the galaxy.